So, hello, friends, my young friends. Welcome you to this second series of our teaching on the topic, the reason for education. As we spoke in the last session, we discussed the fact that most people go to school having never understood the reason for education. Most people think that education is just for them to get a certificate so that they will be able to get a job. Or others think they are getting education just to be able to please their parents, or just to fulfill the requirements of the government that every citizen should be able to read and write. But as you have already discovered from the first lesson, education is far more than just learning to read and write. Education is far more than having a certificate. Education is far more than just going to school just to get a title or to get an opportunity to get a job. Education is foremost for you and me to be able to make ourselves valuable. Education is for me and you to make ourselves from a raw material to a product, but not just any product, but a product of very high quality and very high value. Just as we said, if you will take a log of wood to the market to sell, you might sell it for a little amount of money. But if you will make from this log of wood a sculpture, or a sculpture, or you make from this log of wood a furniture of very high quality, you'll be getting maybe 10, 100 times, maybe even more times more money from the same log of wood that you would have sold for a small amount of money if you will take it to the market to sell. If you will take a scrap of metal and take it to the market to sell, you will get some money out of it. But if you will make from this scrap of metal a sculpture, or if you build a car out of this scrap of metal, you'll be getting 10, 100 times more money from the same material. Now, let us superimpose this upon we as human beings. Human beings, we are like raw materials. We come into this world and we have to build from ourselves something. We have to make ourselves into a valuable product. And this journey of being taken from a raw material into a valuable product begins not when you start working. This journey begins right now where you are sitting there in your school. Primary school, secondary school, whatever the educational system is, university and so on, school of technology. But the journey begins right there where you are now in that school. So you are going to decide what kind of product you are going to become. A product of high value that everybody are just longing to have and ready to pay any amount for, or a product that is just there and nobody wants it and is being sold for cheap. is you have to understand there are people on this earth today who determine what salary they must be paid. But there are other people who are at the mercy of the employer to determine what salary they get. I repeat again, there are people who determine the salary they get, but there are people for whom the employer determines the salary they get. Which one do you want to be? Everything depends on how you invest in yourself now, how you take your processing serious, how you take your schooling serious. So when you have this mindset, you don't go to school fooling around with other, playing around. No, you have a goal. You want to make yourself into a product of high value, of high quality. I remember the story of Daniel in the Babylonian Empire. It is said of Daniel and his 3 other friends, among everybody else, they were young people, but they determined to be people of value. They determined to be people of high quality. They determined to be professionals in their field. And they gave themselves to the educational process because they have an aim. And it is said of Daniel and his 3 other friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, it is said of them that they were found to be 10 times wiser than every other people in their field. Just imagine that, 10 times wiser. Do you know that how much you're going to be getting in your field of operation later in future is going to depend on how many people can do the same thing that you do. Do you know why people who clean get a little bit amount of money in comparison to a professional, to an IT specialist that is very rare to find? Very simple. Everybody can clean. So 30 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people are applying for the job of a cleaner because everybody can do that. So they end up paying them very little because almost everybody can do it. They can easily get somebody to do it. So if you say, oh, I don't want to clean, or I want to hire more, they say, well, go, I will get somebody who will do it cheap. But when you need a specialist, an IT specialist, that you have maybe just 10 of them in the whole world, and millions of people need them, then that increases their worth. So this IT specialist now will be determining how much you need to pay him or her. Daniel and his friends, 3 friends, were like that. They were 10 times much more better than all their other colleagues. So they were rated very high in the Babylonian Empire. And they worked for the king because of their high value. They invested in their education. They invested their time and efforts. So my friend, I want to challenge you that instead of playing around like most of your friends might be doing, set yourself to first of all do your homework. Read more than it is given in the schools. Master the subject. Not just read just to do the homework. Not just read just to pass the examination. Master it. Instead of playing around, if you have access to internet, you have your own gadget, tablet, or smartphone, and you can watch videos. Instead of watching all kind of videos, wasting your time like many young people do, you can be learning another language. By the time you finish school, you have already learned 4 languages, for example, and that increases your value. You can be watching videos of about history, about geography, about business, mastering other fields while you are growing up. By the time you know it, by the time you finish school, finish university, you have become a person of so much value that you will just be happy that you invested your time wisely in your educational process. Well, we'll see you in later videos.